Hey y'all, insight number 2 here. We're in Alma 30 still. I've done 4 of these in 31 and 31. Because while the content of 31 is fantastic, there's really only one point I wanted felt to make. And interesting, as I say, the Come Find Me manual I already thought what I wanted to teach, and the Come Find Me manual is aligned very nicely. So I'm feeling I'm on the right track, and again, I prayerfully decide what I'm going to teach you guys. So there you go. Alright, so 19 through 46 of Alma 30, we hear a little more about what happened to Korihor. So what I love, first of all, is that in 19, he's had no success in the lands he's been in. They've kind of had some success, but it's like, he's like, I'm going to go hit that people up in Jershon. Now, who are the people in Jershon? They were the anti-Nephi Lehi's that came over and joined them. So it says, I just love 19 and 20. It is incredible. He says, now this man went over to the land of Jershon also to preach these things among the people of Ammon, who were once the people of the Lamanites. Good, right? But behold, they were more wise than many of the Nephites, for they took him and bound him and carried him before Ammon, who was a high priest over that people. Remember, they trusted Ammon with everything. And this guy comes amongst them and starts telling them stuff that's contrary to what Ammon's told them. They're like, nah, These are spirit-led people. They knew. They listened to him and they went, well, these things sound good, but you're this much off. And we don't like what you're saying, and you're disrupting our peace, so we're going to take you to a high priest. I just love that. I'm just like, these people were incredible. I want to meet these people someday. I want to dwell with these people. These are my kind of people. They don't take no rubbish, and they're trusting of those they know are men of God and women of God, and they want to be that too. And I'm like, oh, that's just the people I want to be around. So it came to pass in 21 that he gets carried over into the land of Gideon, and I don't know whether he escapes or doesn't get in front of Ammon, but he gets into Gideon and he starts trying to pervert them as well. And the high priest over there, he gets pulled in front of him as well as Giddonah, and he starts trying to preach unto him about the falsities of things. And it just goes really, really badly. And he's like, you lead away by false traditions and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that and blah, blah, something else. And I can just see Giddonah sitting there going, yep, I'm going to send you off to Alma. I'm like, that's not a good thing, right? It's not good. So anyway, when the high priest and the chief judge saw the hardness of his heart, this is Alma, remember, they get sent off to Alma, and says, when they saw that he would revile against, even, this is verse 29, even against God, they would not make any reply to his words, and caused that he should be bound, and they delivered him up to the hands of the officers, and sent him to the land of Zarahemla. They sent him off to Alma, that he might be brought before Alma, and the chief judge, who was governor over all the land. So they're like, okay, we've listened to you. We're not even going to answer you. We're not even going to respect you enough to give you an answer. We're just going to carry you off to Zarahemla and send you to Alma. Because you've been real naughty. This is like, you've been real naughty. You're going off to the, you're going, around here it'd be like you're off to see Auntie or you're off to see Nana. Because they're the ones that will give you the But whatever it is in your culture, or you've got that person in your family, or you grew up with that one person that was always the one who was going to sit you down and go, hey, look, I love you, but you're mucking up, right? So when he's brought before Alma, he does the same thing. He rises up and he starts going off on the same tangents again, saying all these things. And it's just lovely the way that Alma comes back. So, first of all, in verses 19 to 20, that the saints in the Jershon, the anti-Nephi Lehis, or the people of Ammon, would have none of Korihor's words. They didn't want any of it. So why do you think this is? And in verse 20 it says, because they were more wise. But my question is how? How are these people more wise? What do you think? Drop it in the comments. I have my opinion, but I want to know what you think. Drop it in the comments. Why do you think they were more wise, these people? What about them helped them recognize that this was a load of right? And that he had to go. What was it? The rest of these verses we see Korihor in verbal contention trying to contest Giddonah and then Alma. Which does not go well. And what about Alma's replies do you like? Because they start in 33. It's quite interesting. Oh, actually 32. Alma said unto him, Thou knowest that we do not glut ourselves in the labours of this people. First of all, he takes some of the things that are absolutely false claims that he can say, hey, these are not true. Not once have we taken money from the people for the work that we do. We don't tax them for our religious services. Like that is never a thing in Jesus Christ Church. It is not a thing today. It was not a thing then. We don't pay our bishops. We pay some people in the church to run the business side of it, because it has to just be that way, especially in a situation where you need them to be at work for an amount of time. But most people, especially anyone in a ward level or a stake level, or that you'd see it speak at general conference, they are all not paid by church. They do not take any money for the church. They're certainly supported in some ways, because of the roles that they have to go on and take. Like, they don't pay for all their own flights for them to go visit people. They get paid for, but we want them to come visit us. Of course we're going to pay for their flights. It's just what it is. But these absolute falsehoods, these are not true. And this happens again in this day and age too. People will spout off the stuff, and it's like, if you looked at the facts, you could actually see. No. But they're blind to seeing. They don't want to see, they just want to contend. So Alma starts off with that. These claims are simply not true. In verse 35, he says, Then why sayest thou that we preach unto this people to get gain? When thou of thyself knowest that we receive no gain, and now believest that we deceive this people, that causes such joy in their hearts. So some of these things are just simply not true. They're just not true. And they're experiencing joy. Why are you going against that? And Korihor answered him and said, Yea. And then Alma said unto him, Believest thou that there is a God? And he answered, No, nay. And Alma said unto him, Will ye deny again that there is a God, and also deny the Christ? For behold, I say unto you, I know there is a God, and also that Christ shall come. So he's bearing his testimony to Korihor, and Korihor is like, No, you're wrong. No, don't want to hear it. He really didn't want to hear it. So this goes on for a little while, and then, so what of Alma's replies do you like? But verse 44 is the one that stands out, and the one that is often quoted, but the ones around it really support it, and the way that, the way to contend with this sort of thing, and to know that no matter what you say, often, it's just going to be contentious. It's never actually going to go anywhere. It's never actually going to fix anything. It's not going to change your opinion. It's not going to make them feel better and suddenly go, oh, I'm sorry, you're completely right, let me get baptized. That's not going to happen. Most times, walk away. Just walk away. In this instance, like, this guy's captive in front of Alma, and he's got to decide what's going to happen to him because he is causing trouble. But verse 44 will really point out, it's a beautiful, beautiful, how can we know that there is a God? And Alma said unto him, Thou hast had signs enough, because he's asking for a sign at this point. Will ye tempt your God? When you have a testimony of all these thy brethren, and also all the holy prophets, the scriptures are laid before thee, yea, and all things denote there is a God, yea, even the earth, and all things that are upon the face of it, yea, and its motion, yea, and also all the planets which move in their regular form, do witness that there is a supreme creator. There are signs all around you. You do not need to ask for them. You just need to look at the ones we already have. So, it's observer relative. Belief like this is observer relative because it's based on experience. Somebody could look at all those I said a couple of weeks ago, I got to see Saturn. So cool. But someone could look at all of that and say, it just happened, and they can prove it with science. It's like, and then I can say, yes, but who created the science? Oh, it just existed. And it's like, but it's observer relative. What's your experience? When you walk in and see a tree full of fruit, do you gosh, that's really awesome, and it's awesome that nature does that? And some will say Mother Nature, and some will say, that some other God created it. But you cannot deny there's a higher power. All things denote there is a God. The way that the world works and spins and everything. And what sort of things prevent us from seeing this? Why are we spiritually blind to a lot of this? So think about that too. But yeah, have a think of that. All things is a testimony. Everything. Look at it. Go look. Ask and look. Big things. All right. Hang around and we'll be talking about be careful what you ask for. All right. I'll see you there.